welcome to All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris, and I am your host. Voter suppression, voter suppression, voter suppression. Why is voter suppression necessary? It is not necessary. However, voter suppression has become a reality. Today we're going to get an opportunity to talk about voter suppression. My guest is George Holland. George Holland is president of the Oakland branch of the NAACP for almost 20 years. George, welcome back to All About Community. How long? 18? 18.
12 or 13.
Oh, no, it seems longer, George.
Yeah,
but George has been an outstanding president of the Oakland branch of the NAACP. So, George, let's talk about voter suppression. Founded in 1909, why is the NAACP still relevant today?
I think you have to look at the issues that existed in 1909 when the NAACP was formed. The same issues seem to exist today. We are still being voter suppressed. We're still being lynched by various means, some of which people say are police officers killing African-American men and women. So the lynching continues. The inability to vote is being curtailed. Nothing's really changed. So the question is always...
There's been a little bit of change, right?
Well, you would think that at the time in 1909, those people who were suffering then were judging the suffering that they had based on 1909. Now we're at 2021, and those of us who are living in 2021, we judge the oppression that we experience based on 2021 standards. So, you know, many of us weren't slaves. We were discriminated against most of our lives anyway. So yeah, it's just as bad now.
So you're saying Jim Crow has not left us? It's still with us.
Alive and
Jim
well.
Crow is still crowing.
Alive and well.
Alive and well.
That's right. I think when you talk about voter suppression, that we have a bad habit of looking beyond where we are presently. And there was an article in the paper this past week by a new Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, that she has gone to all the various counties and spoke to the registrars of voters. And it's the same old problem. The GOP, people control the voter registration offices, are doing the same old thing that they're doing in the South in a different kind of way. They're trying to affect the voter outcome here in California. So we worried about Georgia and Texas. We better worry about California also, because there are 43 states who have voter registration legislation. There were 300 bills on voter registration. Now, why are there so many bills? Are they trying to improve the ability for a person to vote?
That's what they say. Yeah, they want to make it more convenient for people to vote. They want to ensure the integrity of the vote. That's what they say.
Yeah. But well, if that's so, then why in Georgia you can get arrested for giving somebody water or some food it was in a voter registration line, or a voting line, not registration, but a voting line, waiting for the opportunity to vote, all day in the hot sun, possibly?
Now, are you saying that in Georgia and other places, not just Georgia, in other places, they make the voting lines so long that when blacks go out to vote, that they have to stand in line for hours in order to vote, and then if you give them a little drink of water, they'll put you in jail?
That's what the law of Georgia has been drafted to do.
But in the white neighborhoods, I understand the lines are very short. You can go in right away and vote.
They also reduce the number of voting locations as another tactic that they use. Like in Texas, remember last year or last election, in Harris County, which is a county of Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
You can only vote
Harris County. Yeah. Right.
Anyway, there's only one location for 5 million people. Come on, that's not even realistic. Because you got to drive from a far distant part of the county down to where that one location is. That's ridiculous.
Well, why do you think the Republicans are trying so desperately to enact these kinds of laws to keep people out of the polls? Why would they want to do that?
Because the minority wants to control. They are willing to risk democracy, as they did on January the 6th, to take over the government by force. Because those certain people who are in the leadership of the Republican Party want to take control forever. Forever. They don't want a democracy.
So you're saying that Republicans don't believe in democracy?
It's rather shameful and embarrassing that what difference makes it whether President Biden is president or Trump? If you're a white person, what do you have to lose? How your rights going to be affected as a white person, whether Biden or Trump is in? It won't make any difference to you as a white person for the most part, in my mind. So it's frightening to me when black people finally got a chance.
Well, let me ask you a question, George. Now, if Trump were president, thank God he's not, white supremacy prevails. Maybe that's the reason.
No, they already are prevailing. There's already white supremacy existing right now. It's always been existing. I mean, who's been in charge of this country but a white person for all these years? So they were not losing anything. What were they gaining? They already controlled everything. It seems that you're putting yourself at risk by challenging a situation or a democratic form of government that keeps you in control. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, both parties are primarily white, and they control. So why would you even risk that by having some kind of insurrection on January 6th? That's ridiculous.
Well, there was indeed an insurrection on January 6th where the people, white people primarily, tried to overthrow for the first time in the history of this nation, overthrow the government, and it was led by a former president, Donald J. Trump. We're going to have to go to break, so don't touch that remote. We will be right back with All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris, and I am your host, and my guest is George Holland, president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Oakland branch.